Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. It is Tuesday, August 19th. Still summer, but feels like fall here in Philly. It's low 70s, so I'm not going to complain. I like this type of weather anyway. But when it starts to get cooler and everything, it's football season, and it's right around the corner for sure. We've had a couple of weeks of preseason, and college football's right around the corner as well. And I got a great guest to back featured, podcast family back featured on here. So I will be bringing her on in a minute. But before that, let's get it. All right. Once again, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. It is the Women in Football series continues, and I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harden. Glad to be back with a new episode. And before I bring my guest in, you can follow the show on all the podcasts. You can listen to the show on all the podcast platforms, whether it's Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Spreaker, BS3 Network, Roku channel, BS3TVLive.com, iHeartRadio, wherever you consume podcasts. The Real Deal with Courtney Harden is there. And you can follow me on all the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Get the Real Deal on those platforms as well. Oh, all right. Well, let me bring in my podcast family member and also a good friend of the podcast, been on the show multiple times, and she is Detroit versus everybody. Lions in Michigan season ticket holder. Whether anything Michigan, she is the one, the voice of Michigan, back on the show. And she loves a little bit of golf too as well. We're going to get into a little bit of golf chatter as well. So Lexi, welcome back to the show. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on. It's how I know that football season's almost here, and we do these every year. So
yeah,
yep. Gets me excited. Shoot. Did I freeze up?
We're here. Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Some connected. They might have been mine or yours, or either way.
Yeah.
But we always do our annual.
Here all day. So
yeah, it rained here. Yesterday or day before. It was a big storm. So, but all good. But yeah, you're right. We do our annual football preview, and then we do it at the end of the football season. But it's almost here, so it was only right to bring you on. Almost like I said, fall is almost here as well. So, but how's everything going? How's your summer going? And I know you're ready for some football.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, summer's going fast.
Yeah.
But fall's my favorite time of year.
Me
I've been
too.
keeping myself busy, like golfing 3 to 4 times a week.
Yeah.
So that's my new obsession outside of football. So it's been nice just to kind of keep myself busy until the games get here.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that you are big time golf. Love golf. I know you love watching it. I don't golf. Might try to get into it. I love watching it and do a little betting on it too as well. But for sure. But But like we said, football is here, and we can let's get into it. As I said, your Lions and Michigan football season ticket holder, and Michigan's in the news again, once again, and me for the wrong reasons as well. But me and you've talked about this before with everything. So, but this is the headline that came. Had this over this past weekend. NCAA, gets on Michigan with a multi-million-dollar fine for a scandal. Alleged sign stealing and everything too. So they went after and received a fine of at least $20 million. That could top up to $30 million. That's according to ESPN for his alleged 2023 sign stealing scandal involving staffer Connor Stallions. What's your take on this as a big Michigan fan and everything too? I know you got a lot probably to say about it. So it was and the thing is, we already had this coordinated to you coming on before this came out. So with this news too, But like I said, Michigan's always being talked about for good and maybe for good and bad. But what's your all your take on this as a
You,
Michigan fan?
I've had the same take, from the very beginning. Like,
Mhm.
yes, in the manner of which it was done, kind of stretched beyond what the rules were. But anybody that's saying that it was a true advantage,
Mm.
like, doesn't know
Yeah,
football. The NCAA was on the way to like putting the microphones in the helmets. Like, the college football is the only, high school football does it, NFL does it.
yeah,
Why doesn't this? So if you're so worried about it, you know the change is coming. But stealing signs isn't illegal, and that's just one thing that I feel got lost in the whole grift of like the ESPN, witch hunt with Harbaugh and all this. But I never expected things to be vacated. I was very, probably a little pompous like about it at first, but I knew that
yeah.
nothing was going to be vacated. And I've been hearing for years now, over 2 years, how, our natty's going to be taken away, all the Big Ten
Yep.
titles, blah, blah. It didn't happen because it's not illegal and it does not provide a competitive advantage. And that was proven. I mean, I think that the fines and the show cause is all just the NCAA getting their last jab at Harbaugh, getting it at Connor for maybe exposing the gray areas of the ruling. But everything's legit. There's never going to be an asterisk. There's never going to be anything tainted. It's the only thing's tainted is in the minds of people that like let this consume them for the last 2 years. So we're all Michigan fans are just sitting pretty. It feels like another natty again. Like it's
Yeah.
almost as fun as the first time it happened. But
Right.
I just take everything with a grain of salt. Like, you know what I mean? The higher ups, agreed that our title was legit. We played 8 games post Connor Stallions and 1 out,
Yep.
and very convincingly,
Yeah.
besides going against Nick Saban in his last year. But even that's like we beat him. We shut out Alabama too. So to say that it's just not legit, I'm just not even going to listen to that anymore. So I'm just in the aspect of like, this is finally over. Now the
Yeah.
boys on the program can focus on the season, can get everything together. The school will deal with like the little fines. I mean, let's be real. Michigan is one of the richest alumni
Right.
and universities in
Yep.
the
Yeah.
world.
Right.
So the little fines mean nothing. But I really not have thought of any of this any different than this. Finally, the ruling's out. We can move on with our lives, or at least the people with their minds still.
And yeah, and I remember me and you talked about this a couple of years ago. We had said this during their championship run that they ran through that season even after Connor Stallions. Yeah, again, Connor Stallions, who's a former low level staffer who conducted the scouting and sign stealing operation. I'm reading this right from the article. And but so they fined $10 million. And you're right, and former Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh faces a 10-year show cause order, effectively banning him from college athletics. I mean, Harbaugh has moved on. They won the championship, after getting so close, and they won the championship in 2023. And now he's the coach of the LA Chargers. So I'm sure he's ready to move on. And now it's like, okay, you guys, the NCAA finally, they said, okay, we did something, but you're right. There's no asterisk. There's no question or anything like that. Michigan won that championship. They were the national champions, and there was no question about it. So and now it's like the NCAA had to put their last spin on this and say we got to do something. And I get it. Me and you talked about so okay, you have to do something. Maybe say fine them, suspend suspend coaches and all those things, but don't take the natty away because that's a legit natty for sure.
Absolutely. Well, and they're appealing it, because I
Yeah.
think that they're just like, hey, what the heck is going on?
Mm-hmm.
But for the Harbaugh thing, he was never coming back to college football. He did what he
Right.
did
Yep.
at his place. He
Mm-hmm.
instilled his legacy.
Yep.
Nothing is tainted in his legacy either. He did an incredible job, built it back up. And now,
Mm-hmm.
you can see what Sharon's doing and how he left things, and nothing's changed. We just nabbed the best running back for next year's class,
Yeah.
and recruiting isn't affected at all. So I'm fine.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
it's a
sure
good
you
day.
are. Yeah, and it's interesting too. I think you either put the tweet or somebody did, and they said, "Would it be interesting if this feels like another championship run for Michigan.
It
Like they
did.
could
I
use, yeah.
tweeted that. I
You
said this
tweeted out,
feels
yeah,
like another natty to me, and
yeah.
that's just like one of the greatest feelings, you know.
Yeah, that would be the big thing if they just says, okay, we're gonna just go ahead and win the championship and just try to run right through and get into the playoffs and win the championship and almost like that. Okay, you guys try to stick us. We got something for you too, and it really feels New England Patriots like when Brady's almost like it's like he's like okay, you said you suspended me for these games for Deflate Gate and whatever, and I'm still going to show you that I'm still the best quarterback ever, and we're gonna do this. So, and he had another tremendous year, and that's how it is. It does feel it does when you put that. I was like, it does kind of feel like, watch out for Michigan this this next season,
Yeah.
this
Well,
past
and
season.
that's what I was gonna say too, though, is that a lot of this and like the way that people still talk, way that you know people that are kind of salty about the situation, that's only going to want Sharon and company to prove themselves even more. And we're
Mhm.
already stacking up the talent. Like it was development for many, many years, and it still will be. But
Yeah,
now we've got the NIL, we've got that natty. Now that kids want to come here, we've started winning again. It just really feels like game over. Like, you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's an interesting a whole interesting turn of events. I really can't wait to watch like the 30 for 30 on like the reactions of this someday because
yeah.
it's just been a great time.
It's definitely coming for sure. And like you said, just to put a bow on this, like I said, the financial penalties were, you said, Michigan's one of the known schools and entities, but fines penalties are expected to exceed 20 million. There's suspensions of the coaches, 10% fine on their 2020, 25, 26 scholarships, and they lose postseason revenue for 25 and 26 seasons. But
Yeah.
look
Which
at
I
like,
think that's so crazy. Like, we're not
yeah,
going to ban you for the postseason. We're just going to make money off you because we know how
yeah, we're
big of
gonna
a
find
brand
you
you
there.
are.
Yeah, and
Like,
usually,
the
yeah,
NCAA is such a crock of shit. Like, that's why
yeah,
anyone that's trying to say, like, it's like quit bootlicking the NCAA. They don't care about anybody. They're just trying to take one last dig at Jim Harbaugh and get through
yeah.
this. Like, it's just silly to just sit here when they're just the most asinine business, really,
Yeah, I
ever.
agree, 100%, 100% agree with that. And like you said, you're gonna fine, but not, you know, not ban. It's like you can't like if you're gonna do that, it's got to be one, both or nothing. You
Yeah.
just fine them, but you know, it's like I mean, you don't want them banned, I'm sure, but it's just one of those things. Like okay, but all right, let's get into this upcoming season. How excited are you for this upcoming season? Big Ten. You got the usual suspects: Penn State, Ohio State. I know you don't like that word, Ohio State, but but the usual suspects. What do you think of with Michigan? You said they're stacking talent, and how you see this season. They took a step backwards, which kind of when you win the natty like that, it's you're going to lose players and things like that. But how do you feel for this upcoming season?
I'm very excited. With Bryce Underwood at the helm now, just the talent on that guy's arm.
Yeah.
It's like we went. I know, yeah, we had a little, regression and went 8-5 last year, but that was without any quarterback. I mean, no offense to like the guys we had, but we couldn't have somebody that could complete a pass consistently, and we
Right.
still went 8-5. You're gonna tell me we're gonna get a kid in here who's built like a grown man, can throw
Mhm.
the ball like a player in the NFL. Like we're gonna be a force to be reckoned with, and anyone that's pretending that we're not is just kind of delusional at this point because we're also stacked in the running game. And that's one thing we have been. That's one thing that Sharon's specialty is just having that kind of run through the defense's face nonstop all game. But now that we have that person that I could we can rely on to be able to throw the ball and is big and strong. It's like that's what we've been missing since JJ.
Mhm.
So I'm very excited. I think that the vibes too with the coaching staff are, it's different not having Harbaugh at the helm. You don't have that kind of like muted, we're tough, but whatever. But now it's like I just feel like it's a little more vibrant, which is I think
Yeah.
is a good thing. Sharon's putting his mark on this program and on the school, and I am just ecstatic. Like I think there's going to be so much improvement from last year, and I'm ready to see it.
Yeah, I'm sure you are definitely ready to see it. And just looking at their schedule, and they got week 2 at Oklahoma. That's gonna be tough.
And
That's
it's a night game, so
And it's a
that's
night
gonna
game.
be
Yeah,
the
yeah, that's gonna be a game. That's gonna be a game. And they got Nebraska, Ohio State at the end, and Michigan State, of course, Wisconsin at USC. So pretty pretty good, pretty tough schedule as it is. Any concerns, not just with the schedule, but just in general, by position or with the team itself? Any concerns?
Yeah, I mean, we had like our 5-star offensive tackle
Yes. Yep.
Andrew go out. So
Mhm.
that luckily, like our offensive line has always been known to have depth and be strong,
Yeah.
especially these last few years. So that's just one thing, I'm just hoping the next man up mentality works.
Mhm.
I did see that he was on crutches at least. So that, being that he's already kind of like on his feet already, it's not like as bad as I think everyone expected. It's still probably going to be at least half the season or if not more. But that's my biggest worry is just like got to protect Bryce. You got to have those
Yeah.
big guys out there.
Yep.
I'm feeling really good about the defense. The defense was one of our shining stars last season, and I think that a lot of those guys from last year are bringing that same energy and like with the new guys that we brought on. So the defense really isn't a worry. I'm just really hoping that, with missing out on one of our top offensive linemen that we can get that back and not fall behind on that and just make sure we protect our quarterback.
Yeah, the defensively, I think they should be definitely be fine. And I was reading something earlier before we started recording about their the schedule, and can they win on the road consistently. I think that was a big thing too, winning on the road. And it said if they can win on the road, then, yeah, Michigan, they could be a problem for sure. But you said that those games against Ohio State, Oklahoma, and USC, those are the three games that uh, looks like could be mostly the problem. If they can get through that, maybe 2-1 or something
Yeah.
like that. That's a so yeah.
I will
So
say though, I'm never gonna underestimate going to Nebraska.
yeah, right,
I
exactly.
feel like no matter how good that team is, like those
Mhm.
fans bring it. That's an electric atmosphere. I've been thankful to win there the last couple of times
Yeah,
by just a lick, barely at all. So
right.
that's one thing that's on my schedule too. Is like even though it's Nebraska, that away game is not gonna be easy to win.
Yeah, no doubt. So look out for Michigan, and like I said, college football starts like this weekend or at least next week. I know that for
Yes,
sure.
we are
So
officially at week 0 right now.
yeah, week 0. Yes, we are. We are week 0 coming up, and I know we're both excited just in football in general, for sure. All right, well, we got to get into your other team and from the on the professional side, the Detroit Lions, and fell short last year of their goal. At least getting to the NFC Championship, and I don't think we've talked since then, and everything too. That was a very disappointing. I mean, I'm sure for you, for sure. Washington came in and took care of business. That's what the NFL is all about. And
Absolutely.
the Eagles took care of their business against them in the Super Bowl. So they want to make sure let's put a smacking on them. But you said Detroit fell a little short, but a lot of injuries this last season. Still had a tremendous season. It was the number 1 seed anyway. And but now some changes. Offensive coordinator is gone. So what's your take on that now with the offensive coordinator being gone, and now can the offense still hum like they've been over the last couple of years? Who's been Ben Johnson, but can they still keep it together? And the NFC at the top, you got the Eagles, and then it's everybody else. It seems like,
Yeah.
I think Detroit's still one of the top teams in the NFC. But what's your take on your Lions heading into this upcoming season?
Yeah, and another thing that I'm excited about.
Yeah,
I think that even without, Aaron Glenn or Ben Johnson, defensive and offensive coordinator, like
yeah, yes.
I think that this culture was instilled by Dan Campbell. I
Mhm.
think Dan
Yeah.
Campbell is the mastermind behind a lot of this. I think that Aaron and Ben are good coordinators, and I wish Aaron Glenn the best. I'm not going to root for nobody on the Bears, but
True,
just
true
I'm
that.
kidding. But no, I'm excited though. I think that the offense isn't going to skip a beat.
Yeah.
I got a chance to go to training camp and I went to the preseason game last weekend. Yeah, we fell short against the Dolphins in preseason, but again, the game, you get like second, third stringers,
Yeah,
whatever.
most of the
But in the
time. Yep.
training camp practice I saw, J-Mo was killing it. Amon-Ra was he had this insane catch off a dude's helmet right in front of me
Yeah.
in the end zone. Like, it's just, Goff was making throwing dimes. The offense, I don't think is going to skip a beat. Now, it's staying healthy on defense.
Yeah.
It's I'm very happy we're getting Hutch back. That's going to be a huge
Yes.
improvement.
For sure.
With the pass rush and the pressure on that line there for sure. But it's about staying healthy. We already, I know that Terry and Arnold went down with a little injury in practice like last week. Haven't heard too much about Kirby Joseph, but I think that as long as we can just stay healthy.
Yeah.
Just please,
Yeah.
God, stay healthy. I think we can, continue to be that force that we were last year. But, the offense, I think, is going to, no matter what, just come out humming with all that talent we have. You just can't. How can you guard it, really? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And having even more experience together, especially JMO, having JMO and Goff have that additional year now of, the chemistry and building up. Because I know that with him being suspended 2 years ago and didn't really get like a full season. So I'm excited to see that second year really with those two.
Yeah. And John Morton replaces Ben Johnson. And people think it's going to be a drop off, but he has 24 years of experience as an NFL assistant. So, and he said they got so many weapons.
Yeah.
Detroit,
Well, and like I said, too, it's like this team and this franchise is Dan Campbell's. It was never Ben Johnson's. It was never Aaron Glenn's. He allowed them to excel in the ways they did because he has such a grip on this. You know what I mean? So, like, everyone's saying it's going to be a drop off. It's like, do we lose Amon-Ra? Do we lose Gibbs? Do we lose Dabo? Like, do we lose our offensive line? Goff, anything like. Where's the fall off? So I think I'm a little excited. There's not going to be as much like, look at me and all the cool plays I can do that cause turnovers because I want to be fancy. It seems more like, nose in the dirt, like really like just iron grit right now. And that's what I like to see. Like none of that like other shit right now. Just focus on, running the plays, not doing nothing fancy and just winning these games. That's what matters.
That's what yes, I agree with that. That's what matters. And I think too, you're right. I think with the Lions, especially they said towards the end of the year, they were trying to, let's say they were trying to be cute, but it was more of those,
no.
he
said, was trying to get that Bears job.
Those players, those plays. Right. And he was, like I said, excellent offensive coordinator. And they said they had all the talent, but you said Dan Campbell, the way he puts his imprint on his team, tough, hard-nosed, I think they're going to run the football even more. And they were already a legit running team anyway with Gibbs and Montgomery. I think they're going to get back to that, play hard-nosed football. And you said J-Mo especially. I mean, if you guys play fantasy football, get him on your team for sure because such a deep threat. And now you said getting that chemistry with Goff. Goff's still the QB, one of the top 10 QBs in the league. And he said with Amon-Ra St. Brown, one of the best receivers in the league, they still got, like I said, they got what. So it's going to be hard to cover. And when you said as an Eagles fan, and we talked about this, I was worried about us going to Detroit and being after. It probably would have been a really good game, probably been a track meet type of game and everything too. But I was worried about that because of I'm like, okay, the Eagles can just stay home now. Washington took care of business, but we would have to go to Detroit and really try to stop that offense. And even with Washington, that game, it was Washington got on a big lead, and a couple of turnovers.
Well,
but
and I mean, Jaden Daniels is the future of this league.
Yeah, he is.
Let me just be very clear.
Yeah,
I was terrified to face him and knew what his talent was. So that's gonna, and the NFC East is going to be cooking up, with those two teams. So
yes, it is. It's going to be. You're right, and that's the NFC. It's funny the NFC. People keep talking about the AFC, but the NFC, the top of the NFC. You said Eagles, Detroit, Washington, Green Bay to an extent. The Rams, if Stafford stays healthy, they're going to be
Yeah.
a problem because they were to me the toughest on the Eagles' run was that they were only a play away for beating us here in Philly in the snow game, and everything. If Jalen Carter had those two big plays, that you talking, they would have been in the NFC Championship. But that top of the NFC is going to be tough as well. Any teams, anybody in the North that you're concerned with, Green Bay. I mean, it's Minnesota with JJ McCarthy and the Bears. As you said, maybe they'll win a couple more games. But anybody that you're concerned with in the North.
I mean, obviously, like the North is a strong,
Mm-hmm.
division right now, and I think as much as we can just kind of point and laugh at the Bears, they're building a team too,
Yeah.
and it's like I think that it's on the up, and so it's really just facing those three teams twice a year for me, where it's like, man, you got to at least get one. If you can get two, great.
Yep.
But the Vikings are on my radar, I will say, just because now with JJ, this being technically like his rookie year,
Yep.
I understand, as a Michigan fan, what he's capable of.
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought he was going to be a good threat because the way he can move, and his mentality and everything is just really clear. So, yeah, I mean, with him, like the JJ to JJ connection is one thing that I'm not going to be looking
Yeah.
forward to, and the same with Green Bay though. Like they're getting their things together. Jordan Love is not just some scrub QB, even though we all like to, poke one at each other about it.
Right.
And then with, all the moves that Chicago made and, Caleb year two, we'll see how it goes, but it's definitely the interdivision, with this last couple of seasons, especially now, where it's like you better get through that because that's what you need to be able to launch yourself into the postseason.
Yep.
But do we play Philly this year? No, we don't.
I think we do. I think
Oh no, we do. Yeah, that's right. We didn't last year, and we do this year.
Yeah.
So that's one I'm gonna be a little nervous for.
Yeah.
But hopefully, Hutch got Jalen in like a little scramble all game.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Yes, I'm gonna have to have you on the show when we do play. I was just I had some. We were talking Eagles yesterday, and we were going through the schedule, and yeah, I think it's here. I believe. I think it's here in Philly.
Yeah, 'cause I don't think we have too many good like home games this year.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But hey, you're a season ticket holder. You're going to see all those games.
And I moved. I'm like 14th row now, like right off the end zone. So I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness, you got even closer seats now.
Yeah,
for sure. Oh man, congrats on that. It's gonna be a really, really good season. I cannot wait
I know.
for this upcoming season as well. But before I let you go, I gotta talk a little golf. We don't usually talk golf, but I love it, and you play it, you love it as well. Tour Championship, Sky Sheffield's having a tremendous, I mean, to one of the most historic years in history. Like, this is Tiger-esque, and people have said that before, but this is definitely Tiger Woods.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I've watched golf for many years. Like I just started playing it like a year and a half ago, but watching Scotty Scheffler, those shots, the way that the insane ones that fall every time and you don't think they're going to, like that's Tiger-esque.
Yeah,
like
that
the
is.
shots that no one else can do and no one else could make but him. Like that's what it is. And so it's just so cool. And I know I talked about this past week, but just to be able to see another talent that is Tiger-esque, like in our lifetime playing this game, it's just awesome, and now that I'm like into it too, like when I play it, it's just like makes me love watching it even more. And like I said, like I picked this up, I ran with it. I am beyond obsessed. I have spent ungodly amount of money. So
money and hours, right?
Make a membership somewhere because God, this is like, of course I had to pick up the most expensive hobby known to man. But it's worth it because it makes me happy.
Okay, hey, and you say you're out there on the course doing your thing, and that's what it's about. And like you said, with the way now they're the top 30 players of the season now at the Tour Championship. Interesting enough, Roy McIlroy's having a tremendous year, winning the Masters. He's won 3 times this year. But
Mm-hmm.
Scotty Scheffler's just kind of like he's well like beyond the best player as well. Any other time we'd be like, hey, Roy's had he has a real good year, and he's arguably the second best player. But the gap is like has widened. It's
Mm-hmm.
Scotty, and then it's like steps, and then it's Roy as well. But you got Olberg and everything else. Any other names that you have seen this year that you just said, hey, they've had a really good year, and now any other names that you had on your radar that could even win the tour championship besides Scotty Scheffler?
Yeah, I mean, I even like that JJ Spawn guy. I'll
Oh
say it
yeah.
like,
Mm-hmm.
it's always like he's kind of like in the background, because
Yep.
everyone's up, but he finds his way like in the top 10 like so often, like
Yeah.
he had
Yeah.
that heartbreaking loss, a week ago or a week and a half ago or
Yeah.
whatever, just
FedEx. Yep. Mm-hmm.
missing that putt, but he's someone I really enjoy watching. And that Ludwig Aberg, I
Yeah.
think he's
Yeah.
like,
Over.
yeah,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
he's another guy that anyone that has like a really pure swing. So for me, it's like Rory driving, it's Scotty's irons or chipping it at all,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
it's just and it's Aberg's like chipping and irons as well. So it's like just anyone that has just a really good swing just always catches my eye, and I try to like keep along with them. But I'm just so like mesmerized by Scotty that it's like everyone else is just kind of like, you
Yeah.
know,
I was playing for
like show
second.
us Scotty. I need to see Scotty.
Yeah, and then when Scotty doesn't win, we're like, wait, gotten to that. Like we said, like Tiger Woods, like,
Yeah.
oh wait, did he lost? Like what? Like what happened? But
Hmm.
then even when he does lose, it's still so close. I'm looking at his, let me see, his last finishes. Here's his last finish. First, third, first, eighth, sixth, seventh, first, fourth, first, eighth, fourth, second. That is all top tens. That is
Yeah. Like he's
ridiculous.
always there lurking in the shadows, just
Right,
waiting
right.
for you to mess up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just
Right.
like that last win, with this last one he won. It's like he was down, I think, 6 strokes.
Yeah.
And
By Robbie
they
McIntyre. Yep.
they're teeing off on that last hole, and I'm just like, oh, and he like chunks it. And it's like, dude, Scotty's like a shark in water. The
Yes, he
second
is.
that you
Mhm.
mess up, it's like blood to him, and man, he
Yes.
just like he comes in, it's like even worse, it's even more than he like could have done before that. It's like it like motivates him when someone plays bad. It's like, okay, I'm gonna catch you now. Like you
Yeah.
can never be too cautious.
You never can be. I feel bad because for Bobby McIntyre because he had it.
I
He was
and he
leading.
had 5 birdies in a row, and that
Yeah.
was like his own personal like record too. So
Yeah.
he played a hell of a round, but man, you just gotta tip your hat.
Yep.
At that point, you're like, yeah, it sucks to lose, but I lost to the best golfer in the
Yeah,
world.
best
So
golfer. Yeah,
like,
this is definitely Tiger Woods esque because like when watching Tiger when he was playing and um when he wasn't in the lead heading on a Sunday, 8 shots wasn't enough. And now it's,
mhm.
it's, it's getting that too. It's getting that way for Scotty. 6 shots is not enough. 4 shots is not enough. You have to really like continue to keep extending that lead. And Scotty was saying, I was listening to an interview after he won. He said, "Oh, I'm only 4 shots behind. We got a shot on this back end. And like we got a shot." And he did. He kept chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. And then it's crazy. He hasn't had he has everything's been top 10 since March 6th. And March 6th was his March 13th, that was the players championship. March 13th, that was the 20th place. Ever since then, it's been top 10s. Since March 20th, that's insane. It's insane for sure. Just yeah, he's the favorite to win again. He's the favorite to win this championship, and we'll see what happens there. So, well, Lexi, it is always a pleasure catching up with you. Thank you again for doing this and your time. For sure. Like I said, when we'll do this again when the Lions and the Eagles play, we have to have a preview. We'll see where our teams are, and we both got hard schedules and
I
everything. And
know.
the Eagles got a really hard schedule. I mean, my
I
goodness.
know. But you know what though? Anyone can do it, it's you guys. So I don't
Yeah,
like
yeah. I
you guys
mean,
are stacked from the top to bottom.
oh goodness, yeah. I just that schedule. I mean, when you said when you either win or you're close to it, we know it's gonna be a hard schedule the next season.
Yeah.
But the Eagles are ready as long as they stay healthy. They were majority healthy, most of the season last year.
Mhm.
I know they're dealing with some injuries now. AJ Brown, that hamstring is concerning, but
Oh
you know
yeah, because that's
they
just like a never going away fully.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it
and he
always irritates you.
yep, he played through it last. He played through it all through the Super Bowl, and he did miss some games last year. But the Eagles, they load up, so they just like the Lions. They try to load up and try to win again. So we'll see what happens. But Lexi, let everyone know they can follow you, follow your journey, follow you in your tweets and your golf journey too, as well, for sure. They
Yeah, no,
you know.
for sure. So yeah, Instagram and Twitter, I'm gobluelexi117. Proceed with caution because I'm a little spitfire.
I
Quite a
love that.
mouth on her. Curse like a sailor, so apologies in advance. But you know, you know what? I take it and I give it. That's
Yeah,
just what it is. It's
that's
just
what
an
it's
even
about.
balance of life here. So feel free to follow me. And yeah, I'm always tweeting about golf. So if you got any tips or anything, always chime in and help your girl out get better.
No doubt, yes, no doubt. I love it. I love that, and that's what I like about one thing I do like about you. You like you said, you should dish it and take it, and that's what it's about. And just being authentic. You're like, hey,
Stand on business no matter
stand
what.
on business. Yes, stand on business. Like my man Jalen Hurts said, make the main thing the main thing. Stand on
Yep,
business. Yep, that's what
that's
it's about.
right.
Let's move forward and everything. But appreciate it. Appreciate the time. Thank you again, and enjoy this season. And we'll talk soon.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Go
All
blue.
right. Go blue. All right. Have a good one.
You too.